Executive presence, authenticity. How do you ensure your authenticity? Know your values, demonstrate them all the time. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Stand-Up. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to help make you a more effective leader, and more importantly, so that you can love what you do. All right, I thought I did my last executive presence video last week, but I actually had 2 individuals talk to me about this part of it. How do you ensure your authenticity, and what is something you can do to help you gain some traction in that area? To me, the number one thing is your values. 1, know what they are. These are my top values. 2, define them. 3, communicate them. So let's just go through that real quickly. This is something that I talked about being specific. Let's be specific on this. Here's something you can work on and help ensure your executive presence. All right, first, know them. Well, before I do that, think about your values. Why are values so important? Values are what drive us. They drive us, they're a motivation, and every day we put our feet on the floor, we're trying to fulfill them all day long. And when they're not being fulfilled, we're getting triggered, we're getting frustrated. That's what's happening to us. So values are important because they're our motivation and our drivers. All right, so first, know them. I do a really simple exercise with individuals to help them understand what their values are. So let's, real quickly, think of a time where you had a significant professional achievement. Just put it in your head. What was personally most important to you about that event? And list them. You can list out a number. There was teamwork, we accomplished things, we made an impact. What are those things? Now I'm going to take you to the other side of the spectrum. Think of a time where you're significantly conflicted professionally. Oh yeah, there was this time, and what was personally most important to you? And it's usually something was not happening there. Like, they didn't communicate well, they weren't transparent, whatever it is, list them. So now we'll take out of those words that you've come up with, pull some values out. Teamwork, integrity, respect, communication, whatever they are. So now you define your own. You pull those values out. Now you have them. So you completed step 1. Step 2, define them. Define them. And your definition is going to be the behavior you expect to have them fulfilled. Example, maybe respect is your top 1. What's your definition? Equal, we treat everyone in the organization exactly the same, regardless of whether you're on the same respect. Now maybe I define it as, I see respect as ensuring deference to those that are higher than you in the organization. We both chose the same word, but we defined it differently, and the behavior to fulfill them is different. That's a problem. We're missing each other. So you need to be really clear on what your value is, how it's defined, and that's the behavior you expect. All right, so we just went through the first. We said what our values are. Now we define them. To do that for each one. Next, you need to communicate them. You need to communicate them in large audiences, medium, small, one-on-ones. You need to have examples, and you need to have stories that show it. So that's a case of use your values, communicate your values on a regular basis in all kinds of settings, in every setting. Give examples. And as leaders, we need stories. We need stories, and the number one story you probably need is, these are my values, this is what I think is important, and this is a demonstration of them. So individuals know what your values are and the behavior expected to fulfill them, because that's what's driving you. That's what makes you the leader you are. So now, once that's well defined and you're telling folks around you, it's much easier to be authentic. Because when they're violated, like that one case I told you where you were conflicted, you were out of alignment. You probably had all kinds of triggers. When you're triggered, that's telling you something. So know your values, define them, and tell stories about them all the time. So that way everyone knows where you stand with your values, and reward them as you go along the way with folks. Reward people for fulfilling them. Thanks for listening. Hope you found that helpful. Have a great week. See you next Monday morning, 8:30.